There were 323 baby Idrises born here in the UK last year alone. Hello all, my name is Patrick and welcome to Fun with First Names, where each week we look into the meaning, origin and some extra fun facts behind one specific first name. And this week we're looking into the first name of Idris. However, before we do that, I just have a couple things I need to say to you guys. First off, thank you all so much. If you've been watching these videos for the last month, you know I've been trying to hit $600 a month on Patreon before the end of August, and we have hit that goal. We're on about 603 at the moment, I believe. It might go back down again, but I don't care. We hit it before the end of August. I'm happy, and yes, that does mean I'll be wearing a silly hat. And however, I also need to say that while I will be wearing a silly hat in the future, it won't be next week. I'm actually away next week. This Saturday is my birthday, so the following week after that, I'm just going to kick back, relax, play some video games, probably build some Lego, eat lots of cake, all that sort of stuff. I'm just taking a week off to relax, unwind. I haven't had a week off in a few months now. I just need a bit of time off, as we all do in life sometimes. So there won't be any videos next week, but the week after that we'll be back to normal business. Anyway, let's talk about that name of Idris, and I'm not at all surprised to hear that Idris won this week. It was between Idris, Ian and Isaac. So between those three names, Idris definitely is the most exciting one, and it's a really interesting name. It sounds awesome, and of course it is now universally synonymous with one guy in particular, that being Idris Elba, who we'll definitely talk about later on. And despite being the name from this guy, from this megastar from central London, it's actually a name of Welsh origin. It comes from the Welsh Iod, meaning Lord, and the Welsh Rhys, meaning ardent or impulsive or even fiery. So the name is popularly known to mean ardent ruler, which is a really cool meaning for a really cool name. And the name Idris is a particular note in Welsh mythology. In Welsh mythology, there was a giant king, and I mean like a literal giant king, a king who was like a giant, like a fee-fi-fo-fum sort of giant, and he was called Idris Gwar. And being a giant ruler king means you'd be a pretty darn ardent, fierce ruler too. So I can understand how this name has this meaning, especially with this massive giant ruler. It does make all the sense in the world. However, Idris is also a name of Arabic origin too, and in Arabic it means to learn / study. So even though this Welsh name of Idris and this Arabic name of Idris sound exactly the same, they come from completely different origins and meanings and roots, and that's just how language works sometimes. There's only so many sounds we can make with our mouths, so it's not surprising to hear that those sounds appear in the same formations across multiple languages. It's just a big old coincidence. And in the USA, Idris is actually the 956th most popular name in 2018, so definitely not that popular over in America, I'm afraid. But it's an incredibly different story over here in the UK. In 2018, Idris was the 212th most popular name. However, very recently here in the UK, the Office of National Statistics, who are really cool, they just keep track of everything and anything here in the UK, they released 2019's most popular baby names, and the name Idris has shot up over here. It is now the 163rd most popular baby name. There were 323 baby Idrises born here in the UK last year alone. So it's definitely a name on the rise, that's for sure, and I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years' time it was in the top 100 names, perhaps even the top 10, who knows. And as a cheap plug for the Name News podcast, which is my Patreon exclusive podcast I'm always rabbiting on about, we're looking into this data the Office of National Statistics have given us about the most popular baby names in England and Wales. It's a really fun breakdown. We're looking into the most popular across the country, age ranges. It's really fascinating, some of the names that have come up. So obviously, if you are a patron, you'll be able to listen to that tomorrow. For just $1 a month, you could listen to it too. Go check it out, it's a really fun time. And of course, the reason the name Idris has popped up in popularity so much in the UK is because there's a UK-based celebrity with this really cool name of Idris. We mentioned him already. Let's talk a little bit more about Idris Elba. He's of course a hugely famous actor now. He first came to prominence in The Wire, but he's done stuff with Marvel. He's done stuff with Star Trek. Yeah, he's been in a Star Trek film. I haven't seen that one. He just pops up everywhere. You name it, Idris Elba is there. He was in the Lion. No, he wasn't in the Lion King. He was in the Jungle Book. So he was in the Jungle Book. He's just everywhere at the moment. He's a really big star. Hence why his unique name is on the rise. However, his name isn't actually Idris. If you look on Wikipedia, he was born with the name of Idrissa, which is actually a name I looked into of North and West African origin, which makes a load of sense. His mother was from Ghana and his father was from Sierra Leone, so that's why he clearly has roots from Western and Northern Africa. So it makes sense why they have that Northern Western African name of Idrissa. And coincidentally, this name of Idrissa sounds an awful lot like the Welsh name of Idris. So I don't know when he took on the name Idris. Maybe it was a stage name, maybe he was a username when he was a lot younger. But as they sounded similar, I guess he just went with the name Idris, and that name has become hugely popular, while Idrissa isn't as popular, I'm afraid. At least here in the UK anyway. Though he isn't the only famous Idris, however, there's also Kadar Idris, which is a mountain. Okay, so not a real actual human called Idris, but still a very famous mountain in Wales called Kadar Idris. I believe it's the second tallest mountain in Wales. I might be wrong on that, let me know down below. I tend to be wrong on most things, as you guys tell me. This name of Kadar Idris means chair of Idris, and this relates back to that giant Idris, as a mountain would make a pretty darn good chair for a giant. And I was shocked to find out we even have a wrestler called Idris. This is Idris Abraham. I hadn't heard of him before this, so I'm happy he exists so I can talk about wrestlers still and keep that trend going. And I believe he wrestled in Impact a few years back, so if you know more about Idris Abraham, please do let me know down below. But anyway, that's just about everything you guys need to know about the name Idris. But what are your thoughts on this name? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you know anyone with the name Idris? Are you called Idris yourself? Let me know down below. And of course, I just want to share some stuff you guys had to say about last week's name of Hannah. Ultra Sven LP said, the Japanese Hannah stands in no relation to the Hebrew name. It means flower. And even though Ultra Sven said this comment particularly, loads of you guys let me know about this. Thank you so much. I did ask you guys if the name, Japanese name of Hannah, like Hannah Kimura, does come from the same root of the English Hannah. And no, it doesn't. It's a completely separate Japanese name that happens to sound like the Hebrew English name of Hannah. Thank you all so much for letting me know about that. I really could have researched that myself, but as I also said last week, as much as I love teaching you guys things, I love it when you guys teach me things too. Gordlax said, I've heard the 1980s spike in the name Hannah is because of the actress Daryl Hannah's breakout role in Splash. Thank you for letting me know about that, Gordlax. As I mentioned, Hannah was seriously popular in the 1980s, and loads of you guys, they gave different possibilities as to why that was the case. I think Hannah and her sisters was mentioned as well, but this is one I found of interest. I think some other people mentioned Daryl Hannah as well, so that's perhaps more of an answer as to why the name Hannah was so gosh darn popular in the 80s. And finally, Bone Canoe 86 simply left a response, Anakin Skywalker, which I really liked. Obviously, this is a pun about the Hannah made the name Anna as well, and Anakin comes from Anna, so Anakin Skywalker is just a natural next step from that, I guess, which, thank you for sharing that wonderful pun with us, Bone Canoe. Wonderful name as well. Next time we'll be looking to a name starting with the letter J, and what name that will be exactly will be chosen on in a poll exclusively for my patrons to vote on. So if you really do enjoy the channel, want to help support it, and have a say in what names get explained, then please do consider donating on Patreon. Just $1 a month really does help out in a huge way, and it gets you all these extra rewards I've been rabbiting on about this whole time. Thank you so much to everyone who has been supporting so far, and thank you to everyone who chooses to support in the future. It really does mean a lot, and Name Explain wouldn't exist as it is now without you guys helping. I rambled for way too long this time, guys. Like I said, I'm going to be away next week, but the week afterwards we'll be talking about a name beginning with J. But until then, guys, have a great week, enjoy yourselves, and of course, take care.